get to know you off the field in 6 questions. These 6 questions are going to tell me, you're laughing, everything I need to know about you. You ready?
I'm ready.
Are you nervous?
A little bit now.
When you order pizza, what kind?
Pepperoni.
Extra cheese or no?
If I can do that, oh yeah.
You can do it. I feel like this is your judge. Can I get extra cheese? Yes. Ice cream flavor.
Cookies and cream.
That's the perfect answer.
Yeah.
Rank the top 3 candy bars of all time. Sequential order.
Wow. Candy bars, I'm going Snickers, number 1, Kit Kat, and then Twix.
No Reese's.
It's not a bar. Yes, for candy bars.
Okay, technical, my bad. The king, this has been a hotly contested conversation on our show. The king of R&B is?
Oh, my guy's Sea Breezy, Chris Brown.
Okay. If you weren't a baseball player, what would you be?
Teacher.
I like that. What would you teach?
I would be, I think, either a science or math teacher, or I could be the big, scary PE teacher. We'll see.
Do the 50-yard dash.
Exactly.
At your workout. Okay, so congratulations on 350. On our show, we had this conversation about who has the better swing, me or Robert. And I was wondering if you could watch them, break them down, and tell me who has the better chance of getting to 350. So this is Robert. Okay. This is my swing. Come on.
Okay.
You see?
I see it.
Now mine. Do the right thing.
See, it's a line drive approach. I feel like Robert's kind of swinging for the fences. He might have a better chance at 350, but I think you're going. I'll give it to you.
I'm 3
Give
for
it to
4
you.
with a double
Yeah,
gap.
exactly.
He's hitting 1 home run.
Exactly.
Appreciate it, Captain.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, Aaron. Hey, Aaron. You talked a little bit in these big events about your game for the last couple of years, last year, All-Star Game. Sorry, guys. Sorry to someone who thinks that fame and fortune is the answer to all their problems, or is there something maybe even better that could fill that?
Yeah, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. You know, He's given me this platform, given me this ability. Yeah, the fame. You know, getting a chance to do this it's great and all, but it's not fulfilling as much as the relationship I have with Him. So that's what I would tell anybody is just, you know, build a relationship with Him, and you know that'll solve all your problems. Oof. Try to get one over the plate and see what I can do with it, man. He's a special talent. You know, we've seen it so far in this, 5-6 starts he's had in the big leagues. He's going to do something special in this league for quite a long time. So, yeah, I'm going to just try my best out there. We'll see what happens. You know, it's exciting to see where the game's at, especially with a lot of these young pitchers we're seeing get called up. You know, we faced Chase Burns with Cincinnati a couple weeks ago. He's an electric arm. What we've seen with Skeens the past couple of years. It's some special players, that's for sure. You're welcome. 3 favorite baseball movies. Oh, Sandlot's number 1, The Natural, and then Bull Durham. There you go. Thank you.
Congratulations, how are you? 7th All-Star for you. If you went back and told yourself during your first All-Star game that you'd be in 6th floor, what would you think?
Wow, I wouldn't believe it. You know, you kind of dream about it. You know, you dream about getting a chance to even be here for the first one, and then getting a chance to come back 6 more times is pretty incredible. So, I really don't know what I would tell myself. You know, if I could go back, just keep doing your thing, have fun, enjoy every single one, because each one's so different. You know, this one's so different from my first one, or even last year. So, just enjoy the moment and have fun.
Jazz advice for the Derby, would you say?
Just have fun, take your swing, treat it like BP, don't try to do too much. You're going to get excited, you're going to get amped up with the crowd, not everything going on, but just enjoy the moment. That's the biggest thing.
And then how many diapers have you changed so far?
I stopped count, but I know my wife has tripled or quadrupled the amount that I've done, so I can't sit up here and talk like I'm doing too many things. She's a real trooper, the real hero with that.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Aaron, can you draw the Yankees logo?
Oh,
Max had a look at his hat. I hope you don't gotta look at that.
yeah. I'm gonna keep it at maxes. I'm gonna keep it at maxes. He did better.
This is what he did.
Oh, I'll get him. I'll get him later for that one. I'll get him later for that one.
What have you thought about the season that Cal Raleigh has had into this sport?
Incredible. You know what Cal's done, especially being a catcher. He's a switch hitter. I only got to worry about managing one swing. He's got to try to manage two swings from both sides of the plate, along with the pitching staff. It's an incredible accomplishment. I know he's definitely a hard worker. There's a small amount of time I've gotten a chance to talk to him and kind of watch him, and he's definitely a special talent. Seattle's lucky to have him and kind of have them as their leaders. So I'm always rooting for him, man. I'm rooting for him when he's not playing us. That's for sure.
What makes the perfect bat flip?
What makes the perfect bat flip, I think, is just the moment. It's got to be the right moment. I think you can kind of do anything you want. But Trent Grisham has been, I think, the leader of the bat flip for me. He kind of did a double bat flip. You flip it to yourself, then you flip it again. That's never seen something like that before. So he's on top of my list right now with bat flips.
And then
Aaron,
what
if you could
is
face any All-Star pitcher from any generation, who would it be and why?
Any all-star
Any
pitchers?
All-Star pitcher from any generation.
Well, I think going back to maybe the '99 All-Star game at Fenway, just how special that was with all the legends that were there, and then seeing what Pedro Martinez did on the mound. He was unhittable. I think so. To get a chance to step in the box and see what that looked like, what it felt like, that'd be pretty cool.
What was it like, in your opinion, you against Pedro and that All-Star?
It probably looked like what he did to those All-Stars hitters in those games. Pretty quick at bat. So it's it's got a chance to know Pedro over the years. He's one of the legends in these games, one of the best pitchers in the game. So it'd been cool to face him, man. He's not only the stuff that he brought, but I think just his presence on the mound, and he was going out there to when he started the game, he wanted to finish the game, which was pretty cool. You're welcome.
You played in Truist Park, I think, 2 series. What do you think of the ballpark, and how do you think Atlanta's going to do as a
It's going to be great. This is one of my favorite places to come. I got some family down here in Georgia, so it's always cool having them here. But it's always a fun atmosphere. The crowd's electric. I feel like the ball flies here a little bit, or maybe that's just from me watching, Ronald Acuna Jr. just hit the ball over the park. But it's a special place. I love it. Good atmosphere. It's going to be fun.
Congratulations. And the All-Star game is pretty big, and pretty big the fiesta. At the same time, the World Baseball Classic is also the big thing. And how important for you to wear the Team USA jersey? And that everybody is excited to see the Judge Otani matchup. How do you feel?
It's going to be fun. It was an honor getting a call from D-Row to represent Team USA and be the captain. That's something I don't take lightly. I never got a chance to represent Team USA on my chest ever. So getting this moment is, I'm definitely looking forward to it. And like you said, it's going to be fun. Japan won it all last time. So it'll be cool to go out there and try to fight for a title. They got a great team, and hopefully we can put together a pretty good team and see what happens. It's going to be fun. Anytime you can bring kind of the whole world together to watch some baseball like that, it's pretty special.
Aaron, what does it mean to you to be in a home run chase, and do you care at all about topping your own AL home run record?
Yeah, the home run races are always fun. I try to not think about it, because if you start thinking about it, then you're probably not going to do too well at the plate and focus on trying to win. For me, I really don't look at topping anything until the end of the season. I can kind of look back and say, hey, that was pretty cool, or hey, we got close, or hey, we need to improve on something. So, we'll see what happens at the end of the year. It's tough because there's so many ebbs and flows of the season, so many ups and downs. You're going to go through slumps, go through some hot streaks. So, you just got to enjoy the moment. Can't really think too far ahead. Can't think about what just happened. Just got to enjoy the moment. And usually you'll do your best when you do that.
Were you locked in at all in that McGuire-Sosa race in '98?
A little bit as a kid. I was pretty young, so just all, they made this game look so easy. We all know this game is not easy. I felt like every single time I turned on Sports Center, baseball tonight, those guys were hitting them out of the park, doing something special, and that's good for the game. It brings young fans into it. brought me into it, brought the excitement to me as a young fan. Even though I was a San Francisco Giants fan, turning in to see what the Cubs or the Cardinals were doing, to see what those two were doing was pretty special. Oof. It's coming. Regardless of what I say, if I like it or don't like it, it's definitely on its way. I love the human element of the game. Even though I may get some balls or strikes that are called a little bit more than other people, but I've just always loved the human element of it. The umpires, this past couple of years have been, doing a better job. I think they're doing a better job grading themselves and kind of, figuring it out on their own. So I love the umpire back there and him making the decisions, but we'll see what happens.
Veteran players near the college that just coming in at Hall of Speed. I'm sure there's a little skepticism, but I'm guessing skepticism is more often because you've seen what you've seen over the last 20 years.
Yeah, he's like you said, you never know what's going to happen. Going from the college level, into professional baseball, is it going to translate? Is it going to last? How's it going to be coming up through the minor leagues? But I think everybody kind of knew from the guys around him, just the work ethic he had, the talent levels is there. I think he just continues to get better each year, each start. It's fun to watch. Getting a chance to see him. His first year starter of the All-Star game to now, his second year being the starter in the All-Star game. It's exciting. Just the excitement he brings to Pittsburgh, that fan base. I think to all of baseball, the excitement he brings when he pitches every 5 days. It's going to be pretty cool, and to see him out here again on the mound, it's going to be special. So hopefully it goes a little better than last time I faced him. We'll see.
Aaron, next year USA will play against Mexico in the World Baseball Classic. As captain, please tell us about your thoughts about that game, and if you know some Mexican players.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think the WBC is going to be a lot of fun, especially the group we have for our pool. It's going to be some good competition. I know my guy Alex Verdugo is going to definitely wear me out and be talking some smack to me about that matchup. He's one of my good friends. I know he had a lot of fun last WBC playing. They had a great ball club. So we'll see what happens. I know the fans are definitely going to come out in numbers. They're going to be cheering us on, rooting for both sides, and hopefully we can put on a good show for the fans.
Who is your best player so far in this season? If you have to pick one player, any particular home run or play that highlight why?
Ooh. Favorite play so far this season? I would just go a couple days ago playing the Cubs. Carlos Rodon's on the mound, getting a chance to close out the 8th inning and, against a good ball club, just make a diving catch. Kind of in the inning, I thought that was pretty cool. Just to, in the inning, he gets 8 innings, gets a win. Anytime I can help out a pitcher, I think that's always a good play.
Other than yours, your best player so far from this season, your favorite player so far?
My favorite player?
Yeah.
Oh, favorite player.
Or favorite play so far?
I think Cody Bellinger, he's had an amazing year so far with us. I got a chance to see him so many years with the Dodgers, with the Cubs, and then now with us up close. He made a great play against the Mets a couple weeks ago, came in on a diving, kind of like a shoestring catch that was hit by Juan Soto, and then makes a hard throw over to first base to get Lindor for 2 outs in a intense game in the Subway Series. So that was a pretty cool moment, pretty cool player. Go out there and do that.
Aaron, you've got your Yankee uniform on. It's great as a purist to see you guys are going to represent no softball uniforms, no craziness. So what does it mean to you to go out and again represent those?
I'm excited. I mentioned a couple things to Manfred about how special it was for me, my first All-Star, to represent, see New York across my chest and represent the Yankees, an organization I got drafted by, worked my way all the way up to have that moment. So, I think he kind of heard us loud and clear that, players wanted to represent their team, and I think it's pretty cool for the fans too, because I remember as a kid, turn on the All-Star game and you see some of your favorite players rocking their uniform along with other players that, it just was a pretty cool scene for me, and I'm glad we can do this again, because there's so many guys here for their first All-Star experience, getting a chance to represent their team and wear their jersey. I think it's something special.
And I know you'd like the break, but does this get old or is it still enjoyable?
Oh, it's always enjoyable. This is I'm blessed to be here, humbled to be here. Get a chance to represent New York, represent the organization, represent my teammates, and each year is so different. Even last year's All-Star was so different from this year. Just how the season goes, how you get here. So I never try to take this for granted. I just try to enjoy every moment.
Now, Aaron, you mentioned kind of memories of watching it as a kid, and how does it feel to be back now?
It feels great. Like I said, I never want to take these moments for granted because I'm going to play this game for a short amount of time. I'll be on the couch watching this, here in a couple of years. So just try to enjoy every moment. It's always fun getting a chance to see all the guys, especially guys that I don't get a chance to talk to very often, kind of pick their brain a little bit. And you just kind of build some friendships and some good, just a little bit more respect.
One word, if you had to describe it.
Describe this.
Being back and in the All-Star game.
One word. Ooh. Humbling. It's a humbling moment being here. Never, if you would have asked me as a 10-year-old, if I'd be here at 33 at my 7th All-Star game, I wouldn't believe you, that's for sure.
He's had some shocking moments. But if you had to pick one moment out of all this shocking moments.
Out of Shohei's moments, I think the 50-50, what he did last year, that's something pretty special. The year before, or two years before that, we saw Acuna, 40-70, whatever he did, which was, I kind of thought unheard of, and can't really do something like that. And to see Shohei, last year have a 50-50 season, that's, to have that type of power and speed is pretty special. Haven't talked to him much, just a little bit here at the All-Star game, a little bit when we played him this last series. He's a special player. Like I said earlier, I got to manage one swing. He's managing two swings, being a switch hitter. He's managing a pitching staff, one of the best pitching staffs in the AL. And to do all that and to continue to go out there and post every day, put up the numbers, hit the homers, it's fun to watch. I like it when it's not against us and I don't see that ball flying over my head, but no, he's a special player. Seattle's lucky to have him, especially have him as a leader, and it seems like a calming presence in that lineup in that clubhouse.
If Barry Bonds played today, do you think he makes your season?
Oh, definitely. I think if Barry Bonds played today, he'd have a 70-70 season. He's the greatest player to ever play. He's one of a kind. He made this game look way too easy when I was a kid watching this. So I wouldn't put any limits on Barry Bonds, for sure. You're welcome.
If you would like to participate in World Derby, what kind of event right now it's kind of exposing, saying a lot. So do you want to change? What is the best?
I like the format for the Derby. The time that is. If you hit a ball X amount of feet, you get an extra 30 seconds. I think they got a good setup right now. Maybe if they bring it back to New York, I might hop in and do a Derby, but who knows? I did it my first year, my rookie year. I had fun with it. I had a blast, but now it's time for somebody else to go out there and have some fun.
What reason do you want to play against World Derby?
I've never thought about it. I think if the fans would want that, I think that'd be pretty cool. But I never really thought about that because I think the last one he did was it in Colorado, 21. So you'll have to ask him. You'll have to ask him if he wants to do another one. I don't know. He seemed pretty tired after doing it in 21.
He come back as a pitcher this year. So what do you think about pitcher?
He's an incredible pitcher, incredible player. Excited to see what they do with him. They continue to build him up. Kind of keep him as an opener. Kind of throw a couple innings to start a game. Who knows? He's an electric player. The fans love watching him. He's great for this game. So I'm excited to see that he's kind of fully back and now being able to do both. Because when he first came into the league and was able to do that, it was kind of unheard of. And I think we kind of take it for granted what he's able to do on a baseball field.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing, Barry?
So Riley's using the torpedo bat. He's got one made for lefty, one made for righty. And they're both, one he said is in balance, one is out of balance, and he's going to use them in the derby. What do you think of that? I mean, you've got guys on your team doing it.
I think it'll be good. You know, they're able to figure out different things you can do with the baseball bat to kind of make it, I guess, as best as possible for your swing and for what you need to do. But you know, for him to put that much thought into it, I think is great. You know, he's found a couple models, a couple things that are going to work for him, and hopefully goes out there and wins the Derby. We'll see.
Yeah, that kind of adds to what you were talking about before.
Yeah.
Not only does he have two swings, he's got two bats.
Oh boy, that's great. That's great.
Some of your two quick ones. One, you've been here before, but how would you describe the fans, maybe the kid in you feels about this moment being there?
The kid in me is nervous, excited, overjoyed. It's just a special opportunity. You know, like I said, if you would ask me at 10 years old, like, hey, when you're 33, you'll have 7 All-Star games under your belt and this and that. It's, you know, I would have pinched you. I wouldn't have believed it. But no, it's a special moment because I think back to, like you said, if I was a kid, you know, watching these games. Never got a chance to go to an All-Star game or see it in person, but now getting a chance to experience it and kind of live it, there's nothing like it. So I just try to enjoy every moment, kind of treat it like I'm still that 10-year-old kid, you know, and doing my thing.
The other one, a fun one. Nicknames are a big part of clubhouse culture. We have a really good one in the Derby tonight. Big Dumper, Cal Raleigh, maybe the greatest in all our sports. Your assessment, your analysis of that, and also maybe one of the best or favorite teammates or even your nicknames that you've heard.
Oh my God. Yeah, Big Dumper's a funny one. That's I haven't asked him yet if he likes it or not, or where that even came from. I don't know if we can say that on TV where it came from, but it's great. I think it's good. Hopefully he likes it. I know the fans love it. Nicknames that I've heard are on our team. Oh. I don't know, I think the funny one for us is Jason Dominguez. He's the Martian. You know, I think that's pretty. I still haven't got an explanation why. I think it's just because he's out of this world. He's a special player, special talent. I've never seen someone with that type of power, that size, can move the way he does. So, yeah, he's not from this planet, so that's why he's the Martian. You're welcome. How you doing?
Thinking back to your first All-Star game, 2017, what kind of stands out from that first trip to do this kind of whole?
I think the biggest thing that stood out to me was, you know, getting a chance to meet one of my favorite players, Buster Posey. I watched him for years with the Giants, and then I'm digging into my first ever All-Star game, and he's the catcher behind the plate catching. So I thought that was just such a surreal moment.
He's saying what's up, like.
Yeah, like it's just something I never would have thought, because, you know, you rewind a couple years and I'm sitting at home watching him on TV in the World Series. So it's, you know, now I'm stepping in the box with him catching in my first All-Star game. I thought that was a pretty cool moment. That's something I'll never forget. So I think just something like that, where guys that I watch on TV, now I'm stepping in the box and getting a chance to play with them. And, you know, maybe there's some guys here that, you know, are going to their first All-Star game and they're seeing some guys they probably watched on TV a couple years ago. So I think it's just a pretty surreal moment.
And it's kind of passing that knowledge on in a way, right? And Buster gave you his time, and then you kind of pass that on to the next guy.
That's what this game's all about. It's a fraternity. It's a brotherhood. You know, it doesn't matter if we're all wearing different jerseys. You know, we respect each other and the work that you got to put through to get to this point, to get to an All-Star game, just to get through a 162-game season and into the postseason. It takes a lot of your time, your family's time. So, yeah, just any moment we can spend with each other, just chit-chatting, sharing knowledge, just kind of building that. That's what it's all about.
Thank you, Aaron.
You're welcome.
Let's talk about Jazz. Jazz brings a certain energy to the locker room, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you haven't been there a while. How is the locker room a little bit different now with him in there? I know you have your standards, you make sure everybody stays in line, but what has Jazz done to change the locker room?
Well, I think the biggest thing is he's always got a smile on his face. You know, it doesn't matter if he's going through a tough time or team's going through something tough. He's always been that kind of light to, you know, kind of help guys turn to the next page. You know, even if we, you know, have a bad series and we're on a flight going to the next spot, you know, my guy's always locked in, ready to go, and he's excited. He's ready for the next moment, ready for that next challenge. So I think that just kind of reminds everybody that, hey, this is still a game. You know, it's still a game that we played as a kid. And I think he just brings that energy that you need when you're going through playing every single day, the ups and downs. You're gonna have that guy that's always locked in, always smiling, always ready to go.
He plays with two former home run champions and Derby champions, right? Or I know Giancarlo won 16 and he won 17, correct? So I haven't given him any advice. I mean, you got two champions in there already.
Honestly, I've seen his BP for a while now, so I just told him, hey, go out there, have fun. You know, the 70% swing he's been taking in the games, which has been working out since he came back, has been huge. So I said, hey, just take a nice, easy swing and just go have fun. I think that's the biggest thing, especially now. Put a show on for the fans. You know, that's what they came out here to see. And I think once he steps out there, he hears the crowd, juices start flowing a little bit. He's gonna put on a show.
The All-Star race, MVP, they're saying that Kyle Lowry, yourself, you're hitting up about 100 points more than they were. Have you thought about this? This would be your greatest hitting season as far as batting average. Where's the consistency in the average coming from? You know, it's 360, 370.
I try to get better every single year. You know, just that's what I owe New York. That's what I owe the Yankees. That's what I owe the fans. And especially after how last season ended, you know, I wanted to make a couple changes so that, you know, we could kind of rewrite how that ended. So, you know, went to the drawing board after the season and, you know, go to work. And, you know, it's been working out so far, but we got to continue that through the rest of the year.
Thank you. Good luck.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Aaron, as a veteran in the league and multiple All-Star appearances, what are your takeaways of more often that you do this?
I think my biggest takeaway is I keep getting older. You know, it's you know, keep seeing young guys come in here. You know, especially I look over to the A's. You know, Jacob Wilson. You know, I think he's 22, 23 years old, starting his first All-Star game. Got elected to his first All-Star game, and just seeing the excitement and joy in his eyes. Kind of walking around here, enjoying these festivities we got is pretty cool. So, yeah, just each year, just trying to enjoy every moment, soak it in, share the knowledge I can to these young guys, and you know, go out there and win this All-Star game.
It's a little more special to share with your family this year.
Yeah, definitely. First All-Star game as a father, you know, so having a chance to have my daughter here and have my wonderful wife support me along the way, it's been pretty cool. So we'll definitely be a little different this year, and just looking forward to it. You're welcome. I didn't yet. I'll definitely try to find him. We both kind of gave each other a little nod, a little wink after each one. So, no, it's fun. That's what it's all about out there. We're out there competing. You know, obviously he wants to win. I want to win as well. But, you know, just having a little good friendly competition in there, a little gamesmanship, it's always good for the game and good for the sport. Yeah, it's amazing. You know, from a lot of the young pitchers we've seen over the past couple of years get called up and succeed to, you know, some of these young guys that you've heard about for a while on prospects lists, now getting a chance to be up here, and now they're in All-Star games or performing like everybody expected. It's pretty special, and you know, hopefully I can hang on enough to continue to be at these events with all these guys.
Jazz said he was going to practice for the home run derby, but just decided to wing it for tonight instead. Do you have any advice for him as a guy who's playing?
Yeah, I just said go out there and have fun, because he was talking to me about trying to practice, try to do this and that. I said, man, you don't need to practice. You know, you hit every day, you take BP every day. You know what you need to do. You know, don't try to do anything more than just take your swing, man. He's got a perfect swing lined up to just hit the ball over the field. So I think the biggest thing is just have fun, enjoy the moment, and don't get too hyped, because the crowd will get you going a little bit, and you'll be staring at the clock. You'll be staring at how many, you know, homers you need. But if you just go in there, have fun, take your swing, good things are going to happen for
He
you.
likes that kind of stage, though. It might be tough to send down the hype.
Yeah, he loves the stage, but I think that'll only make him better. You know, Jazz is a guy ever since he got over to New York. You know, the first couple games we had him, man, he had an explosive game in Philly with a big homer. He's made some great plays in Boston when we first got him. It's just, he's an electric player. He's going to do something special tonight.
Aaron, from Dominican Republic.
How much does it mean to have Joe Torre in Yankees uniform with the All-Star games?
It means a lot. I haven't had a chance to see him or talk to him yet, but when Booney told us he'd be with us, I think that's pretty special, because you go back, you know, turn on all those games in the 2000s, and you see the whole Yankee coaching staff, you see Joe Torre at all these All-Star games. So I think it'll be pretty special, and I know Joe definitely appreciates being here.
Aaron, you've been on a lot of heaters in your career. And what's it like to just be in that pocket? You're just mainly stopped.
I hope it doesn't end. Just try to stay in the moment, stay locked in. Don't try to think about it, because you'll be good for a couple of weeks. And you're gonna have a bad couple of weeks, but as long as you just try to stay consistent, don't get too high, don't get too low. Hopefully you can kind of ride out those tough storms a little easier and do what you need to do. So I try not to think about it too much. If we're on a heater, things are going well, just keep playing my game. As long as we're winning games, I'm good to go.
Aaron, Dominican Republic 2017 was the last time the Yankees won and competed for the promoter. Now you have Jazz there tonight. I don't know your thoughts on that.
I'm excited. He's going to put on a show. He's got a great swing built for any ballpark. And the guy's an entertainer. He's going to have some fun out there. I'm excited to see who he's going up against first. I haven't seen the board yet, but no, it's going to be special. Anytime we get a Yankee out there, and especially you get Jazz out there to do something, he's going to put on a show. It's going to be fun.
Sometimes you win, sometimes you struggle. What has been the hardest moment for the team this time and this present campaign?
For this season, kind of just starting the season off with a couple tough injuries. You lose your ace, Garrett Cole. Clark Schmidt, we just lost a little bit ago. Luis Hill, another guy. That's been tough for us, but a lot of guys have stepped up in some big roles for us, filled some holes that we needed, and I think that's been the biggest thing, just kind of battling through these injuries.
Finally, I saw you and Soto get back to each other in the field. How was the relationship? Is he missed in the Yankees?
Say that one more time?
Juan Soto, I saw you guys had a huge back to the field. Is he missed in the Yankees?
Oh, we definitely miss him. Juan was, not only a great player, but a great person in our clubhouse, a great guy. We still talk, we still text, communicate. We check in on each other. So I know the Mets are loving him over there. We enjoyed our time with them with the Yankees. So I wish him nothing but the best. He's got a bright future ahead of him.
Leaving to the Mets or no?
What's that?
Were you shocked about the decision of him leaving to the Mets?
Well, I think everybody was shocked because he didn't know where he was going to go. Was he going to come back to the Yankees, go to the Mets? But I think he made the right decision for him and his family, and that's all you could want as as a friend and a teammate is just make the best decision for you. And he's got 15 years over there, and it's going to be good years for him.
Judge.
You're welcome.
Judge, you're on third base. You got to use the bathroom. What do you do?
Say that one more time.
You're on third base. You got to use the bathroom really bad. What do you do?
You got to hold it. You got to just
Whole time?
Yeah, the whole time. Well, what else am I supposed to do?
I mean, if you got to shit, you got to shit.
What would you do? What would you?
I mean,
No, you can't do it on third base.
yeah, all right.
Aaron, what's your favorite arena to play in other than your own?
I love playing in Toronto. It's always fun playing there. It's a good atmosphere. They give me a lot of crap for wearing 99 like Gretzky, so I like kind of going back and forth with the fans on that one.
And then a fun one. Beyonce is also performing in Atlanta tonight. Do you have a favorite Beyonce song?
Oh my goodness. I think my favorite one is kind of a slower one, Halo. That's a classic. I know my wife loves that. We'll listen to that, so that's a good one. I wish we had some tickets, but we got to go cheer on Jazz.
You might be busy.
Yeah.
Former teammates.
Top 3 former teammates. Oof. I'm gonna start with Brett Gardner. He's up there, former outfielder. Played next to him for quite a long time. Number 2, I go CC Sabathia. He was quite a leader, just a mentor for everybody in that whole clubhouse. And 3, man, that's a tough one. I got a lot of good teammates. There's some good ones, man. Man, I miss my guy T-Wade, Tyler Wade. I know he's with the Padres doing this thing, but he was kind of always had a smile on his face. Didn't matter if he was playing or not playing, starting that day or not, coming in off the bench. The guy always brought energy, brought excitement, and he just loved being a Yankee.
Last one, everybody. Last question.
Aaron, what is the hardest moment that you went through previous your career to be an MLB player, an MVP, and an All-Star at this time? What's the hardest moment?
Hardest moment? Ooh. I think, after I got called up, first couple games were great, and then the rest of my rookie year in 16 was not great. And then I ended the season with an injury, oblique injury. You kind of had such a high of getting called up, hitting a homer your first at bat, everything's going your way, and you kind of think, hey, this game's easy. To now you're hitting 179 and you're injured, and you just kind of don't know where you're going to be next year. So I think that was kind of a tough moment.
What would you say to that area?
Kind of the same thing I told myself then, which is, hey, you got to keep going. Nobody feels bad for you. Nobody's hoping for this, hoping for that. You got to do it yourself. So it's about just keep putting the work in, trust your abilities, trust your time, and good things are going to happen.